Former Secret Service agent, former NYPD officer, and host of Renegade Republican, Dan Bongino. First, Dan, hope everything is good with your family down there in Florida. Just wanted to check in with that because I haven't spoken to you since then. Good stuff?
Yeah,
We're all good?
cool. Thanks for asking, man. Yeah, everything's good. We're good. Thanks.
Good. Let's get to St. Louis now. I mean, another example. Have at it.
Yeah, this is just unbelievable. I mean, directing your violence at the police officers as if the cause in major American cities dominated by liberals of all their problems is the cops. Listen, I get it. I was a police officer. Policing isn't perfect. We're all human beings. We're all sinners. Use of force situations when you're a police officer are always going to be ugly. In this case, tragic. We get it. But guys, ladies, there's a process for handling this. We have a court system, okay? How is rioting, bringing a gun to a riot, throwing things at police officers, how does this solve anything? Do you really think the cops are the problem? Are the cops the problem of no jobs in Baltimore, St. Louis, and Cleveland? Are the cops the problem of a faltering medical system there? Are the cops the problem of really high tax rates that drive people out? You think the cops are doing this? These are men and women, fathers, mothers, spouses, brothers and sisters who go to work every day to keep your city safe. It's not perfect, but directing your violence at them, take that energy elsewhere and direct it at the politicians who destroyed these cities over the course of the last 50 and 60 years. They're the ones who deserve your ire, not the cops.
Yeah, well said. We want to get your take on another topic as well. A celebrity chef, I don't watch cooking TV.
I do. Anthony Bourdain.
Bourdain.
He was asked by some paparazzi if he would host or cater a meal for the president, and I believe we have some sound. This is what he had to say. Listen.
If Trump and Kim Jong-un were going to have a bit of a summit to try and mend relations, and they wanted you to cater, what would you serve?
Hemlock.
There you go. Poison the president.
Yeah. You know, having been a Secret Service agent, this is, I get it. Like, we do these commentaries, and they're celebrities, so you kind of gaff some of it off. But, I say to any Hollywood person or entertainer listening, this isn't funny. There are really psychologically disturbed people out there. I've been involved with personally. These aren't fantasy stories I'm telling you. These are real-life events I was involved in, where really psychologically disturbed people want to do harm to Secret Service protectees, the president and their families. You don't know, like, when you say something like that, you don't know what that means to someone who's not thinking clearly, who may have some psychological disturbance. This isn't funny. This isn't a joke. I used to respect this guy. He flies around the world eating fried crickets in whatever, Indonesia, or down in the Bahamas somewhere. That's real great. He has his show was okay. Now, I have to tell you, I throw this guy in with the scrap heap of liberal group thinkers who can't think for themselves. The most cowardly thing in the world is to fall in line with liberal Hollywood and say something stupid about Trump or threaten his life. You want to have real guts? Stand up and say, I don't like the guy's policies. That's okay. But that's totally inappropriate to threaten the man's life or say something personally about him. Let's just stick with the policy. Then we'll respect you again. But this guy lost all respect from me. I couldn't believe he did that.
Dan, that is so well said. I totally agree with that. So we've been talking, we always talk on the show about the important role that police officers play in our life, and we're talking about that today with what happened last night in St. Louis. Well, there's one professor that focuses on the police officers as being bad. He tweeted out about teaching future dead cops. This is Professor Mike Isaacson, who says some of y'all might think it sucks being an anti-fascist teaching at John Jay College, but I think it's a privilege to teach future dead cops. He has since, I believe, been suspended from that school. But just your reaction, to the language that's being used.
Yeah, Mike, if I can call you that, Professor Mike, you think it's a privilege to talk to the kids of those dead cops, too? As they're sitting there at breakfast the day after something happens and there's a little empty seat at the table and mom or dad doesn't show up because they were shot or killed. You coward. You're like the scum on the bottom of my garbage can. The fact that you take money from taxpayers to teach at a law enforcement-centric college in New York City, and then you take that money and go on your social media hiding behind a keyboard and cowardly seem to incentivize the death of good men and women trying to protect your communities, you are the worst kind of human life on the planet. You're an absolute disgrace. I dare you to look into the eyes of those kids who will never, ever see their parents again, who died defending communities in this for nothing, for almost no money. No cops getting rich, unlike you, welching off the taxpayer and then doing this. This guy's a disgrace, and a suspension's not enough. He should be terminated. John Jay makes their own decisions. It's a free country. But if I were a cop, I would never give this institution another dime while he's still there.
He's a professor of criminal justice at the John Jay College. And to think that something he tweeted back in August just caught people's eye now. Yeah. And you're right. If he's only suspended and not fired, what a double standard. And
yeah, he's a professor of ignorance and vile behavior, and he really should find another line of work.
All right, some powerful words from you, Dan. Always good to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan.